Hi guys. Um, I was looking through my videos and I noticed that I hadn't done a clanging and banging. Clanging and banging, with Mikey session in about 7 months. So as you can see, some things have changed. Mainly the facial hair and damn, I need a shave, bro. I didn't realize it was that bad, and my hair, obviously. Um, this segment is gonna be about me leaving competitive bodybuilding, you know, and me branching into some of the new topics and different things in different areas of my life that I want to explore. And first things first, bodybuilding is and will always be a part of my life. But in terms of the competitive side, I'm good. Um, I found that when I was preparing for shows, because believe it or not, this year I was gonna do 3 shows back to back and try to get nationally qualified because that was the goal. And then the pandemic happened, and that just screwed up all my plans. And like everybody else who wasn't fortunate to be considered essential worker, I was placed on unemployment. And with everything going on with that, all that did was give me more and more time to figure out, yo, what is it that you want to do? You know, not I'm not talking about 5 or 10 or 15 years, 20 years down the road. Like, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? And I had to really sit there with myself, and I had to come to terms that this is your opportunity to do what you want to do and do it right now. And the first thing that came to my mind was like, I'm leaving competitive bodybuilding. That's the very first thing. I'm gonna tell you why. I don't have a lot of friends. I'm not that social, but I'm nice. I'm a very respectful dude. And what I found was that when I'm bodybuilding, or when I'm preparing for a show, I become very isolated, and I hate that because everything revolves around the diet, the training. You know, I mean, it helped because number one, I really don't have that much of a social life to begin with. It's like before the pandemic, all I did was go to the gym. I went to the gym in the mornings before work, went to work, and after that, I went to the movies or went to the beach or whatever. It's like my life didn't really evolve around other people. I'm very comfortable by myself, and once I got used to that silence, it's like I'm not gonna reintroduce the noise. And another thing I found out with bodybuilding is that it just makes me, and I'm not that I'm unpleasant to be around. It's like when I'm dieting, I get really short tempered. I get annoyed really quickly because of the diet and how restrictive it is. And I'm not getting any younger. So in terms of me relationship wise and everything, I started to look around, man. It's like, and most of the guys I know who are in bodybuilding, either they're single or they have casual hookups, and that's cool. They can do what they want. But I looked around and I'm like, I don't want to be that motherfucker who's single when he's 50. And I was like, I want somebody to talk to about my day, or even something's bothering me. I want somebody to help me figure it out, or just listen to me vent. I was like, and I looked around and I'm like, all these motherfuckers is like, their life revolves around weight training or competing in general, and it's like there's so much more to me than just that. It's like I'm not just a meathead, who has muscles and a six pack and and everything else, because there's so much more to me than that. And so, with that being said, I will most likely never compete again, either in an NPC sanctioned show, because to me, life is so much bigger than just bodybuilding. It's like You know, being a bodybuilder isn't who I am. It's what I do. You know, who I am is completely different from that dude you see in the gym at 3:34 in the morning. You know, or that dude that you see at 10 o'clock at night with a hoodie on, that's grinding it out because that's what I do. There's so much more to me than that. And it took this pandemic to basically sit my ass down and to figure that out. I mean, because not that I was ignoring it, because I knew what I wanted to do. I just had to have basically no distractions. And for the last 5, 6 months, that's what this shit was, no distractions. And recently, a family member came by, and she had brought pizza over, just because she wanted to have pizza. And the first thing that she told me, she's like, "Oh, what about your diet?" And the one thing I could think about is, man, fuck the diet. Like, what does the diet have to do with me eating pizza? Or it's just things like that, because it's crazy the amount of food restrictions that this sport puts on us. Or how guys would gorge, 2-3 days after a show and literally gain 30 pounds. I've seen guys do that where, like, on stage they weigh 175 fucking fit, and the next 3-4 days later they're like 215, 220, and they're fat, And don't get me wrong, I love donuts, I love sweets, I love candies, I love all that shit. And the more I sat down and I looked at it, I'm like, bro, I can make more money doing what I love. And money is never the object with me, like, it never has been, never will be. But I'm like, yo, I can make money at doing something I love, which is, which will soon be my career and my passion. And I can enjoy that and still live life and not have to be so restrictive with the food. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still weighing out my food and I'm still doing all this stuff because to me that's a habit. It's like I've always done that. I've been doing that. So for me to break that habit, not that it's unhealthy, because to me it's not. I just don't see the point in being so restrictive all the time. It's like, yo, if I want tacos on Tuesdays or Thursdays, or if I want to eat a pint of ice cream or whatever, I'm gonna go do that shit because I fucking can. I just think that bodybuilding itself, it's a very selfish sport, and it's a very isolated sport. I mean, don't get me wrong, these guys work hard. I personally know some pros myself, and they work their ass off to get where they need, to get where they needed to go, and I commend them for that, man. But me personally, I could not see myself giving up years to a sport that's gonna basically make me more isolated than I'm already in. And recently I have gotten back into not dating, just like trying to put myself back out there, because it's been so long. I had to retrain myself on how to, like how to communicate with other people, like that, I mean, and not that I've never had that problem before, because those who know me, know that I can never be quiet. But I think for me, it's like it took me a long time to realize it's like, yo, not everybody's like you. Not everybody's gonna have the same, interests, whether it's bodybuilding, sports, music, whatever. So it took me a long time to figure out, who is worth my time and who's not. And within that segue, I really started training people too, and helping them with the diets. And what I found out is a lot of people, not only do they not know how to work out, they don't know how to eat. And you don't have to be as meticulous with it as I am with weighing out the food and everything. That just helps me keep myself accountable. So with that being said, I'll drop my email in the description, and then that way you guys can just email me that way if you have any questions, because going back and forth on social media is it's a little bit time consuming, you know, and I much rather break it down to people in detail versus just fucking a bunch of comments, and it's like nobody knows what the fuck I'm, you know, like it leaves more people confused than anything else. But yeah, man. And one thing that made me want to leave competitive bodybuilding is that life is so much bigger than this shit, man. You know, life is so much bigger than fucking counting calories, your macros, making sure you get excess fats, proteins, you know, carbohydrates, all that shit in. Life is so much bigger than that, man. And it's like, and believe it or not, I want to be that dude who takes his kids out to get ice cream on a Friday or Saturday night. I mean, I don't have any kids yet, but when I do, you know, I want to be that dad who does that. You know, and like I said, don't get me wrong, I will always keep training, but in terms of me being a competitive bodybuilder, nah, I'm good. And I think a lot of people who have competed, who have done multiple shows, who know what the diet is like, it's not something that's, you know, conducive to an everyday lifestyle. If anything, it's the opposite, the very end of what a normal lifestyle is. And this pandemic helped me realize that, man. It's like, I've always been a critical thinker, open-minded anyway, but this pandemic just made everything, boom, right in your face. Go deal with my shit, you know? And it's just something that, you know, that's that. It's a very rewarding sport, but it's also a very damaging sport as well. And I'm not even gonna get into the taboo of it, dude, because that's a whole different topic for a whole different video. And I feel that I'm not versed well enough in that to, you know, to dive into that. But yeah, man, it's like life is beautiful, man. Life is great, and you should do things that make you know, that makes you happy. One of my partner's younger brothers said, you know, don't rush it. You know, be patient with it. You know, trust the process, more or less. And it's true, and it's like everybody goes through transitions. Everybody goes through transitions. But what makes you different from everybody else is how you deal with them shits. Life is 95% mental and 5%, you know, physically how you react to it. That's what I think. Thoughts become things, things become actions, actions become words. So always be mindful about what you're doing, what you're saying, what you're thinking, because thoughts become things, man. Goes.